All right, guys, welcome to the Wholesalers Playbook series. We're going to be going through the book. This week we're doing the chapter one um, for wholesaling, really the fastest way to profit and why wholesaling wins. So the goal of this class, this first period here is we're going to look at breaking false beliefs, and we're going to show you guys how fast wholesaling works and give you guys some action steps on how to do that. So, welcome to week one of the Wholesaler Playbooks Masterclass. If you're here, it's because you want to learn how to make money in real estate without needing credit, cash, or risk. And so, tonight, I'm going to show you why wholesaling is the fastest, safest, and most scalable strategy. So, this is a working class, not a watching class. The file, I've put it in the thing for everyone here in the class. I'm going to be putting that out every class. And so your goal here is to get a deal using this kind of routine here in the next 30 to 45 days. Totally possible. Um, some of the students have done it in less than that. So, why does wholesaling win? Well, people think flipping houses is the fastest way to profit in real estate, but it's not. In Canada, without the escrow process, flipping can take months, can cost six figures, and require renovation. So, wholesaling is the only strategy where you can lock up a property for profit without ever owning it and without ever putting any real money down on it, as long as we are able to create a situation. So, you're not buying the property, you're selling the paper, the contract. So there's no credit there, there's no mortgage application, and there's no risk if you write the offer the right way. So you can make 10, 20, $50,000 on just hitting that one deal that comes through the network, and you're able to put that section, put that profit away. Now in the States, it's a lot slower. You have to close at the end. But in Canada, and I'm still not entirely convinced that the Americans can't close earlier and get creative, but we're closing at the beginning, and there's a rite of passage, and then the liability transfers and you're out. There's no waiting. Once we've actually moved that thing, they've assumed the contract on assignment. And so because they've assumed the contract on assignment, they also assume the promises in the contract. So now the person who's actually buying the contract at the end, they're the ones that have to fulfill the agreements made in the original contract, timelines, deposits, etc. So then I get them to write the deposit and all of that, and they clear it all. And I don't even put a lawyer in. I don't go to the lawyer's office for these things because I'm not actually in that transactional period. I'm simply moving the paper, and the new person's assuming what we've already negotiated. Springtime. Not wearing enough clothes. That's how you get sick in the Winnipeg. It's not that cold out. Still -5. All right. So seller motivation plus speed is your paycheck. So seller's motivation is fleeting. So if you hesitate on making those offers and connecting with them, you're going to lose. The difference between wholesalers who win and those who don't are the ones who make the calls, make the offers, and move fast. So I'm going to tell you guys a quick story about the deal that I locked up because I was faster than others and I didn't hesitate to take it to paper. So I make the call. The property's been on the market for like 7 to 10 days. It's mismarketed as the agent didn't really put the description in correctly. And so you kind of had an idea, but the the big thing is that you had to see it. You had to at least get a visual representation. And so because I'm in the same market that I'm in, I go and see it. I could get a person to inspect it and get the feeling for it, to identify opportunity, because we're looking for opportunity fast before other people act on it. So that's where we're going to be able to go in. So as soon as I walked the property, I quickly said, I want to offer this. And I got him to go to the car and get the paper and let the agent do his thing and write it up. and kind of have the negotiation with the listing agent. The listing agent has the inside edge. It's like you're directly negotiating with the seller because they've given a certain amount of information to the selling agent. So you can skip the back and forth by just going to the person who's listing the property, writing with them. So quickly grab it, tie it up, take it off the market. Later in the afternoon, the next day, my conditions are running out. I've got, 72 hours to sort this thing out and make the money or drop it or get an extension. In that time, two or three other people are in line behind me now with offers that they want to make and to buy the property. But because I acted quickly, I got the seller into a contract. I tied that down, conditionally accepted it, and ran my clock out, showed the property, brought the buyer from an other wholesaler's buyers list, but I held the contract, so I'm making at least 50% of that fee. Moved quick. I didn't hesitate. I tied it up, and we moved the deal, in less than 4 days. Couple $1,000. I think it's like a $5,000 or $6,000 wholesale. That's fine, but you can do that every single week by turning and not hesitating. So you want to be able to find that seller motivation. This person had inherited their uncle's house as a public trustee. They wanted to get rid of it. They didn't even live in the city. And if you called the agent, he would tell you that, but it wasn't in the description. So you have to call the agent and ask them about the seller. They're as close to the seller as you can possibly be. So they know stuff. Call them. Don't hesitate. That's the insider trading that we're going to be talking about in a few weeks in that chapter. So I sent you guys the 30-day game plan for the wholesaling blueprint. So we've got 50 realtor calls a week. Remember, those are calls, not conversations. You're probably only going to have 15 conversations, maybe less, maybe 10. A fifth of them may never call you back, whatever. Who cares? It's the outbound touch, 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 touch. The other thing that we're going to be doing is of those 50 calls, we're going to try to get out there and get offers written if we can over the phone without ever actually seeing it. Test the price on paper. We're going to be talking about that in a few weeks. But if you've seen the sequences I've done on speaking with paper, you'll kind of understand that writing an offer is the difference between some verbal offer, which doesn't mean anything in real estate. You got to be getting to paper. Then we're going to be dropping 50 handwritten letters a week. That gets you to the marketplace that allows you to get those sellers calling you. Then we can run through that script. And we want to get some cash buyers on there. So put some social media like we were talking with the blueprinted deals, or just, do a video about you looking at a property and say, hey, I'm looking for deals. 4 people. If you want to get on my list, DM buyer, I'll put you on my list. So everyone's got the tracker PDF, and I'm going to pull mine up here. Where's the preview? I'm just going to go to my files. Where is it? Yeah, you guys have the kind of the right one. I'll put the right one in the thing here. So at the top, it says your mission, complete the action steps every week for 30 days. Wholesaling is a numbers game. This tracker will teach you how close you are to your first deal. Again, we went over at 50, 10, 53, and one deal analysis per day. Then we've got our daily tracker. It's got realtor dials, offers, letters dropped, buyers added, and deals analyzed, and as well as like the win or the lesson, because it's either we win or learn. There's no lose. And then it's got that for all 30 days. And at the end, there's a little week by week, so we can add them up. How many weekly, how many offers made weekly, how many letters dropped, and we can see how close we are to those targets. So at the end of the 30 days, you just wrap it up. You look at the chart. I used to do mine. This is actually based on the chart that I used when I started for I think I used it for 12 weeks, and just trying to get close to these numbers or even in the ballpark allowed me to actually get to these metrics. So how many offers did you make? How many conversations did you have with realtors? How many letters? Did you get an accepted offer? If yes, was there an assignment fee? What's the biggest thing you learned? And so very simple. It allows you to just kind of stay on track. And I'll put the correct one in the list here. Track your progress, make your first deal. And so we're going to be walking through that over the book here. So you all have that file in the checklist. Let's keep this Boeing going. Where's that window? Okay, perfect. So here we're going to talk about the objections and the reality check, like we were talking about at the top of the call. These are the three biggest excuses as to why people don't do the work in real estate. One, I don't know what to say to realtors. Fair enough. Two, what if I don't have buyers? That's a great question. And three, what if I'm new? I don't know what I don't know, and that's a problem. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to outwork your competition and follow the process. I have the scripts, I have the examples for getting buyers, and being new is not an excuse because everyone was new. The difference between amateurs and professionals is one invests in education and one tries to make it up as they go. And yeah, they can both get there, but one in 5 years and the other one in 5 months because the collapsing of he had to learn everything for 4 years and 7 months, and then he finally got to do his first 5 months because he learned the hard way, mistakes and blood, sweat, and tears, whatever you want to call it. So the homework and the call to action. This week's assignment is print that tracker. I used a printed version. I didn't use a computer version. I used a printed version of the tracker and I filled it out and I kept it in a binder, 3-hole punch binder. And it was just a physical thing. Make it a physical thing and print it out. Write your first 3 offers. Um, Agents will walk you through that. If you're doing the dials to things like the real estate news and realtor.ca, Zillow, Redfin, whatever, they'll help you navigate it. You say PDF it to me and they'll say, send me your terms. And I'll say, sure. And then that's it. And they'll write it up for you and you sign it and it's like offer done. Not a big deal, guys. You can make way more offers than you think by just asking for it to be done over the phone. If you were in a different city, they would do it for you. And just because we're in the same city doesn't mean that I have to meet you somewhere. If I said I want to buy that property, I'm from Calgary and I want to buy it in Winnipeg, the realtor's like, well, can you meet me at Tim Hortons and we'll write that up? No, he's going to send me the paperwork. I'm going to sign it and send it back to him. And he's going to go to the property and walk it and do a video walkthrough for me on like FaceTime or something. He'll do that. So I don't have to do that. Now, dropping the 10 letters every week, you got to get out there and just test it. Test the 10 letters and see what you get. If you drop 10 letters, you're going to get a couple phone calls. And we're really just trying to get the reps. You're going to get rejected. The letter's going to be like, hey, what's the story with that house? And they're just like, what do you mean? And you're like, I just was wondering why this, that, and the other wasn't done. Like, there seems to be some work. Oh, yeah, I'm too broke and I'm probably going to do it in a couple years. And you say, well, you ever thought about selling that thing? And they're like, no, I'm going to die in this place. And you're like, cool. And how, and then you can run it into a further conversation of curiosity. But ultimately, that's a good practice because you're going to go through the two main hits. You're going to get rejected and you're going to keep on going. And then post the daily wins to the group. We have that deal chat. You can chat way more in there, ask way more questions, and just post your wins so we can, like gym partners, can promote each other. I think the biggest success this year is pairing up with not directly through business with all wholesalers, but growing that wholesaling community and participating in it and just checking in on your other wholesalers and like, oh, you did a wholesale? How much you make? He's like 20 grand. You're like, fuck yeah. And you just celebrate the win, right? So if you want, um, I can probably put it together some sort of slide deck and things like that. But at the end of the day here, you're only one motivated seller away from a $10,000 payday. The only question is, will you do the work? And so until next time, guys, I'll catch you on the next recording. We're going to go to Deal Talk. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next video. There we go.